Compositional theory and win conditions. There are three major types of compositions, those being brawl, dive, and poke. They all have checks and balances on each other, meaning that the game is pretty balanced. To start off, brawl counters dive. Brawl versus dive. When you're playing brawl into a dive composition, there are three win conditions. You can either speed engage onto the supports, since they're usually alone, with the maximum protection being a Brigitte who can't stand up to an entire brush, rotating to the objective and forcing them to jump onto you so that you can easily punish them with Reinhardt swings, close range blasts from McCree's and Reaper, or you can take the high ground, pushing them away and forcing them to have to dive from bad positions, which will breed mistakes. The next is dive into poke. Dive versus poke compositions. So the win conditions for a dive composition onto a poke composition is to jump onto the squishies. Take split angles so the poke compositions can't just spam the choke and get easy kills, or to isolate the tanks from the supports, meaning that the tanks will die fast enough that you can just win the fight off of that. Winning the fight with speed rather than power is important in dive compositions versus poke. Finally, poke counters brawl compositions. So if you're playing a poke composition against a brawl comp, you want to set up on a hard to access high ground position. For example, Big Earls on Route 66 is a great poke point. Using long range damage to keep the brawl at distance, because you'll lose a close fight, is very important. So heroes like Hanzo, Widowmaker, and also high spam characters like Junkrat and Bastion, who don't allow them to play LOS for too long. If the brawl manages to evade your LOS and get too close, you should always rotate away. Because you don't want to take the close fight, and if you can continue to evade them and kill them before they get to you, you will win the fight.